weather is in a bad place. We have migrants down at the border who are actually freezing. It's crazy, the idea that even in Texas it's so cold. But that's not stopping the president from making his way to the Virgin Islands for the New Year. So there's a lot going on at the border. There's a lot going on in our country. And the president's ready to go have a good time. He's going to go to, I think it's St. Croix. Is that how you say that?
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to the Virgin Islands. You know, this is a president who liked to tell us during the campaign that, you know, he was Scranton Joe. But over Thanksgiving, remember, he was in a $20 million estate, a donor's house that was lent to him. You know, the fancy wedding with the Vogue shoot of, you know, Hunter Biden's daughter at the White House. Now they're off to St. Croix. It's interesting to me that, and I hate doing the, you know, if Republicans did this, but I'm sorry, if a Republican president in the middle of this storm, in the middle of, I mean, it's not just that there's cold weather, that's Mother Nature, you can't stop that, but we have record level energy costs that are completely on purpose because of Biden's policies and shutting down American energy. We have senior citizens on fixed incomes who, you know, can't heat their homes. Some are dying because of that. And I just think it's unbelievable that he gets a pass from the press on this kind of decision. In any other political, you know, Republican House, White House, there would have been people saying, I'm sorry, Mr. President, this looks horrible.
Well, yeah,
you're not going to St. Croix right now.
Listen, there are good optics and bad optics. Lee Atwater, the famous Reagan-era Republican strategist, really wrote the handbook on it, and of course, every administration focuses on it. But you don't want your toes in the water, toes in the sand when 60 people are dead across 12 states because of a blizzard and because Title 42 could lift possibly today. The Supreme Court has slated it to end at 11:59 p.m. tonight unless they step in. It will end at midnight. And you've already got massive tents being set up outside of El Paso, where we have seen so much of the crisis with those migrants laying out in the streets. You can see the cover of the New York Post here.
Yeah.
Welcome, Matt. Feds build massive tent city outside El Paso for Biden's open border. A tweet from the San Diego County supervisor further west. 646 migrants have been dropped off in San Diego County over the past 3 days. He says our shelters are stretched beyond capacity. This is unsustainable, and the federal government doesn't seem to care. The retired border agent taping video of it that was given to me overnight. He runs a site called Old Patrol HQ, and you see some 50, 60 migrants here just north of San Diego, outside of a center where they're literally yesterday releasing migrants. He says most of the Old Patrol headquarters gentlemen telling me that they're mostly Nicaraguans and Cubans, a few Venezuelans. But essentially what you have here is the NGOs have no place to put them, meaning the shelters are empty and they've got to go somewhere. So they're just dropped off with no instructions, no idea where to go. They simply just can't deal with them.
You know, and this administration would have us believe everybody coming across the border is, you know, just this pure of heart individual who is just seeking an opportunity. They want to come here and build this country stronger. And all of those words sound fantastic. But the truth is, even with good people come bad things when there's chaos, no law and order. And this is a great example right here. Raul Ortiz, Border Patrol chief, tweeting, "Be alert. We have seen a drastic increase in loaded firearms being carried by human smugglers. Never get complacent and always approach with caution. Stay safe out there. And remember," and this is important, "you have a family to go home to at the end of your shift." I can attest to that. You know, I used to live in Texas. I have a lot of friends. I was actually just talking downstairs with someone in our hair and makeup room that's from San Antonio. I have a lot of friends that live and people at home will know these towns: Poteet, Jourdanton, Pleasanton. These are towns an hour south of San Antonio. I have two friends that have gone into their hunting blind in the morning, and when they opened the door, were greeted by a gun. Where migrants had hid in there, or smugglers, I don't know. To me, they're the same, because you know, it's like fighting the Taliban or Al Qaeda. They don't wear a uniform. I don't know if that's a drug smuggler or a well-meaning family, but when they have a gun pointed at me, they're a bad guy. And I have two friends that have experienced that in the last 5 years down there. We're not making this up. People in Texas aren't making this up. They fear for their lives because there's complete chaos down there. If 1,001 people cross the border and 1,000 of them are good people, it only takes one to wreak havoc and take somebody's life. And Americans have a right to be mad about that.
Yeah, just in the last year, we know for a fact, and this is just the numbers that the government is willing to release to us. We know that there's 90 known terrorists who were apprehended. God knows how many have gotten through. I mean, you talk about it takes just one. We have 90 that we know of. Think about how many have gotten through that we don't know of, or how many more our government is hiding from us, because you know that the government doesn't want us to know the truth about how many terrorists have come through. And we have, unbelievably, the most dangerous border crossing in the world is the southern border here. Rodney Scott, he's the retired Border Patrol chief. This is what he says about the so-called preparedness, the plan coming from the Biden administration for the end of Title 42. Listen.
All of my sources tell me there really is no plan. If you look at the omnibus, some of the language that's in there, it's basically to process people and release them into these communities as fast as possible. But I want people to stop and think about something. El Paso is the biggest border town along that Texas border, and they cannot handle this flow. Del Rio is only about 30,000 people. That's the residents in that community. These are small border towns. They can't handle the flow. There weren't even enough flights out of El Paso or San Antonio this last week to be able to handle the local residents and all the migrants. This is beyond anything we've ever seen before. And with these frigid temperatures, the Biden administration encouraging these people to come up and cross illegally is responsible for any deaths that took place.
He's saying there's not even enough flights to get out. People sleeping, illegal migrants sleeping in our airport, many of them unvetted, Griff. As you know, the NGOs can't keep up with this, so the vetting is basically none.
And
right?
the NGOs aren't exactly good actors all the time.
Oh, no.
Very deceptive.
I say NGO in the negative when it comes to this. The NGOs are these are non-governmental organizations. They are getting money and getting rich off of our tax dollars. They are actually pushing these policies, and our federal government and the Biden administration is basically taking pressure from them. This is a big scam, a big scheme. And again, at the airport, as he said, they can't keep up with the flights, and they're laying on the floor. And again, you and I can't get through without our ID. How the heck are these people getting on flights when we know they're being vetted by shoddy NGOs?
That's a great question. The answer is, over the past 2 years, I've been covering the border, whether it's in McAllen, San Antonio, El Paso. I've been to all of them. Literally, migrants have pieces of paper. Many of them have signs that say, I can't speak English, help me. You know how bad my Spanish is. I have tried to help these people who literally have been put at the airport, given a flight, and they don't know where to go or what to happen. Anyway.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.